deal. You do it for a few years, it's a big deal. You start having issues like tendonitis, arthritis, osteoarthritis, muscle imbalances, those kind of things. And the more you get the muscle imbalances from doing that same motion over and over again, the worse things are going to get. You can't avoid it. But what you can do is minimize it. You can rehab it, minimize it, and prevent it from getting worse again. I've learned that in several ways. For one thing, I had a full-blown herniated disc. I have 2 degenerative discs that I've had since I was, actually, I got my degenerative disc when I was a kid. Didn't know until I was in my 20s, but I had it then, and then I had a full-blown disc herniation when I was 38 years old. I've gone through rehab, and I've changed my exercise habits so it doesn't bother me. Now, it's still there, but it doesn't bother me. Now, I same with tendonitis in the elbow, I have tendonitis in the shoulder, a little bit of tendonitis in the knee, but I've been able to rehab those and get that pain way, way down, and I'm still able to train very hard without further exacerbating the issues. So I know it can be done. And let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, first of all, I got tendonitis. And I think this is probably the most common of them all that you'll be dealing with. And that's where the ligaments or the tendons around the joints and connective tissues or around the joints get inflamed. They get overused. And typically what happens is that if you do things over and over again, the whole overuse injury that I'm talking about, the muscles repair pretty quickly, pretty easily, but it's the tendons that do not. And what tends to happen is that the more you do those kind of activities, the more the muscles will actually take from the fiber tissues of the tendons to repair. It's one of the reasons why they're able to repair more quickly and be more pliable. But it does wear down the tendons. Next thing is arthritis. I'm just going to list these off real quickly and then go into how you can work with them. Arthritis that's the joints. You've got the degeneration of the joints themselves. That's a tougher one because once you have that, you have that. And the best that you can do is prevent it from getting worse. But you can, and a very important piece of that is movement. The other important piece of that, ironically, is strength training if it's done right and if you don't overload the muscles while you do it. But it's certainly an important piece. Okay, then the third one is the degenerative disc, and I've mentioned that I've had that. That's, once again, very common. For me, I got my degenerative disc because I did something foolish. I was there to jump off the roof of a building. I was 8 years old, and I did that whole Euro sissy thing, jump off the roof, blah, 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 blah. I did. Well, that bothered me for the next week. Didn't think anything of it. But it was just that acute trauma that started wearing it down, and it took 20 or 30 years before it really came to be a big issue. But that's just one example. As kids, let's say you're on a swing set, and you do that crazy thing where you swing, you jump off the swing set, boom, something as simple as that. Riding a bike, jumping over ramps, things like that. Playing football, I guarantee you play football, you're going to get a degenerative disc, among other things. All right then, hypertension. This has a lot to do with lifestyle, I think more than anything else, but as we get older, a lot of people have it. F is rotator cuff tear. This is another popular one. As a matter of fact, I think there's a couple people in this room who have that issue. And then the final one that I've really noticed, although this isn't a big one, it is certain, or it doesn't happen often, I should say. But when it does happen, it's a real issue. And that's an inguinal hernia, the actual hernia, not a herniated disc, but a hernia in and of itself. That one I've had 2 people get, my mom and one other person that I've trained, who's in his late, he was in his late 70s, early 80s, wasn't he? And ironically, the reason why, or what triggered it, was doing the plank. Don't know why. But in both of those cases, that's when it happened. So, my feedback I got from saying that, I think, is that when we get in our 70s and 80s, be very careful with doing things like the plank. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I've trained many people that age that never had a problem with it. But I did train a couple that did get that. So I would say use a little bit of caution with the plank when you get older, but if you've been doing core exercises for 20 years before then, it shouldn't be an issue. But that is certainly something that has raised a red flag for me. So those are the injuries that we, for the most part, deal with as we get older. And later on, I'm going to explain in a little bit more detail what I found to work to alleviate those symptoms.